Innovation is universal, it is magical, and anyone can participate in the economy. And entrepreneurship gives us those doorways.
Hello, and welcome to Small Biz Catalyst. I am your host, Ayisat Abilogun. Join me as we explore ways that we as small business owners can pay ourselves a growing six-figure salary without pulling out our hair. Whether you're a small business owner or an economic development professional, this show is for you. Let's explore together.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Small Biz Catalyst. And today we're doing a bonus episode. This is a special episode for Global Entrepreneurship Week. And for those of you who don't know what that is, I've got two experts with me today to share some of the work that's happening this week and just what it is so you could get involved. It's not too late. It's this week, but you can still do something even if it's just for a day. Karina is my guest today. We actually have a panel. Woohoo! Our first panel. Karina is also an Economic Recovery Corps fellow. And we've got Mo Collins from IEDC, and she's the Director of Entrepreneurship. And I couldn't think of, well, there were two other people who were supposed to join us today and couldn't. So sorry that they couldn't join. But you've got two people who are going to share so much with you today. And I just can't wait to delve in. Karina, tell us about yourself and what you do in Global Entrepreneurship Week, or how you're involved.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me and having me be a part of this panel, and just being able to share the space with Mo is such an honor always. So thank you. Yeah, I am the community organizer for my region, which is in the Central Texas area. We are in between Austin and San Antonio, San Marcos being, yes, here in Texas. And San Marcos is my hometown, but also kind of the center point for a lot of the Global Entrepreneurship Week activities. But we stretch into South Austin, Kyle, and Buda when we've hosted Global Entrepreneurship Week events, programs, or just meetups. So as a community organizer, I facilitate and bring all of the stakeholders and the ecosystem together during the week of Global Entrepreneurship Week. And we host, we support, we broadcast the events happening throughout the week. And then as the owner of Splash Coworking, it really allows me to leverage our space, but then also extend our network and marketing opportunities for organizations or initiatives throughout the corridor. We're known as the Innovation Corridor within Texas with the Economic Development Partnership that we have here. And we've really coined that into a lot of our activities through GEW. This is my fifth year, since 2020. So since 2020, I have been involved with GEW, and that came about really just being reached out to see if I wanted to participate and be a community organizer, which has then led me to be a delegate for the region. So I participate with the Global Entrepreneurship Congress as a delegate representing our area.
Oh.
And as you mentioned, yes, I am a fellow with the IEDC and the Recovery Corps group. So that is how we met. And I am so happy to be a part of such a great just group in general when it comes to entrepreneurship and economic development, and that just new transition of economic development supporting entrepreneurs.
So I have a question for you just from what you said. Because, of course, as you said, she didn't record or register this event. And I'm hoping there are other people who are actually going to take a cue from this and maybe even have a one-day event. Is it too late to get it into that registry?
No, and I can load this up afterwards and make sure I fit it in. We are very active with the organizing team, and I usually write up something about what we're doing, because sometimes it's a little bit non-conventional as far as what events we are hosting and how we support our entrepreneurs. So we always have good content to share and really learn from others and what they're doing during GEW. So I'm more than happy to list this podcast and put it on blast and get it out there. So we can definitely do that. And if you are listening and you have an event for GEW, you can still activate it by having your community organizer or us here list it and really promote it, because it's more of like capturing what happened in the week. So as entrepreneurs are typically responsive and dynamic, there's not many rules in that sense.
So, entrepreneurs, regardless of what you're doing, whether you're in consulting, manufacturing, whatever you might be doing, join us in being a part of this week because it highlights who we are. So, you might be a service provider or a product provider. We welcome you. And of course, see, this is a podcast going in. So, you might be a blogger. Get involved one way, however you can. Now, we have another industry giant in the room, or in the studio. Mo Collins, way too humble to call herself a giant, but y'all, I cannot even share the rap sheet she has as a bio. It's a very long bio. So, Mo, tell our audience a little bit about you, what you do, and I can't wait.
Oh gosh, well, I'm just so grateful to be here, Ayisat, and to be a part of your podcast.
Oh, thank you.
I think these are some of the most important things that we do in the field to help share the intimacy and the conversations and the real kind of thought leadership that we know is emerging across the country and around the world, to Karina's point. So I'm Mo Collins. I'm the Director of Entrepreneurship at the International Economic Development Council. But, I've actually been in this space almost all of my career. I think some of you know, I started my first business on a dare while mad at a boyfriend. I wouldn't recommend it as a business card of strategy, but it kicked off a whole career for me. I'm now so much closer to the end of my career than I ever was at the beginning. Someone called me the other day, the OG of ecosystem building, and I thought it meant old grandmother. I think it fits, just boy and gray hair. But I am.
Why is grandmother?
I am so grateful. Someone in Buddha called me. I was like everyone's grandmother. She said she came up after the cover.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway,
I mean, that's fitting for the scene in Buda. So yeah,
it was great. It was so much fun to be in Texas and to share all that magic and that excitement with the entrepreneurs there. I almost wish we had waited just a few days to be part of Global Entrepreneurship Week. I think Global Entrepreneurship Week is one of the unifying events that we all around the world can all point to, hold up, and share in celebration around the magic and the vitality and all the things that come with entrepreneurship. So it's so important. And the good work of Jonathan and his crew, I think, cannot be understated in helping us raise awareness that this is not just something happening in the US, it's not just something happening in Africa or in Oceania, it's something happening everywhere. Innovation is universal, it is magical, and anyone can participate in the economy. And entrepreneurship gives us those doorways. And so for me, Global Entrepreneurship Week is an incredibly important part of all the good work that we do. And at IEDC, we work very hard to leverage our 5,000 plus members to support entrepreneurship, to hold up entrepreneurship during this week, of course, all year round, but this week in particular, as a way to be unified with the rest of the organizations, national service providers, and others who do this good work in supporting innovation and entrepreneurs throughout the stack. So thank you for having me.
Oh, you are most welcome. And so I know, Karina, you shared a little bit about how people can get involved. What does it entail and you shared a little bit about being a regional representative. How can people, this is a twofer, how can people get involved in GEW, Global Entrepreneurship Week? And what does it entail to be a regional representative?
So the community organizer position really is it's a volunteer catalyst, basically, to aggregate all of the entrepreneurial activities during the week of it. It gives a designated either individual or organization the opportunity to be the hub of communication and outreach within the ecosystem. So typically it's a natural ecosystem builder that is designated as that point person. And they know who to get involved, who to reach out to, because it's grassroots focused. GEW was really formed to give the microphone to those that are in between the unicorn, star, shiny locations that get all the attention all year round. So that's why San Marcos, being in between Austin and San Antonio, was such a perfect example of how giving a microphone to a smaller community that's doing just as big, if not more impactful activities around supporting entrepreneurs, or just the environment itself for entrepreneurs is a little bit more impactful just for capacity reasons, right? Like you have a smaller local pool, you do something, it's going to have larger ripples. And that is definitely what the GEW initiative not only initiated in 2020, really bringing the platform to the people that were boots on the ground doing the work, but as Mo said earlier, it really allowed for continuity between all different ecosystems throughout the world to recognize we're doing a lot of the same things. We have a lot of the same questions. We get to where we are in similar directions, but different approaches. So how can we learn from one another? And answer the second part of your question, to get involved is really either to reach out to your Global Entrepreneurship Network community that's in your area that would either have a community organizer or a designated ecosystem builder. Through your economic development partnerships or organizations, they typically do have a little bit of an ear to the ground to reach out to those grassroots leaders. And if you don't have a community organizer in your area, there's probably someone within contact graphs that you can get a hold of through the Global Entrepreneurship Network platform. You go to gin.org, and you would be able to look up who is in your area with their easy to navigate map and put in your zip code, and that would populate who to get in contact with. And then from there, you can list with them your event that you're either hosting or the idea of an event that you want to host and how you can activate that within the ecosystem and stakeholders.
So just to emphasize, if you don't have an economic development person that you can reach out to, or community or organization near you, you can go to gen.org. It's genglobal.org. Thank you so much for double checking that. Want to make sure we give out the right information. For those whose only way to do this is to go online. So Mo, I have a question for you. What does Global Entrepreneurship Week mean to you, and how long have you been involved?
Oh, wow. Well, let me start by saying that I have been at IEDC a relatively short period of time, although, as I said earlier, I've been in this space most of my career. But the Global Entrepreneurship Week means a lot to me because for a very long time, entrepreneurship was seen as just something extra in our communities. We didn't hold up the value of entrepreneurs throughout the stack unless they were Facebook or Lyft or, eBay or Etsy or, some Silicon Valley derivative of a tech company. And all the rest of the entrepreneurs, and let me remind you, in the United States, there's 34 million businesses. 24 million of them have fewer than 5 employees. And those micro enterprises churn in and out of business every 1 to 3 years. And so all of those folks have been kind of deemed an aside in economic development in my world, in my space, for decades, because the thought was we're going to recruit the big businesses and the small businesses will come and they'll take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, and you'll know this, I'm preaching to the choir here, is that the value that entrepreneurs throughout the entire stack bring to our community is invaluable in terms of how we contribute to the economy, how we create diversity of jobs, in terms of how we create place, that magic that makes one community different from another community, the spark, the personality, the color, the vibrancy, all of those things are part and parcel of the entrepreneurial experience in any community. And so this organization, the Global Entrepreneurship Network, holds all of that up. In fact, I think, Karina, tell me if I'm wrong, isn't the slogan this year, isn't it entrepreneurship is for everyone, right?
Yes. Yeah. I totally wanted to bring up the theme. And that's one thing that's wonderful about GEW is it's not just a campaign that's rinse and repeat rotation, right? It's what is standing out within the entrepreneurial community and how do we tag that as a statement. And this year, being entrepreneurship is for everyone is such a bold statement because it is. And everyone within themselves, if they ever were a child and drew something that didn't exist before, they do have the tools within themselves to create something that didn't exist before. And I think the slogan, the theme, the tagline, entrepreneurship for everyone this year is so spot on, where a lot of industries are catching up to what Mo just said and really giving the credit where it's due for who has held different communities together globally. And when it comes to, there is a lot of global activity that takes GEW very serious. I'm always envious of seeing the countries, the regions, the communities that, have declarations for GEW, have proclamations that they put out there. They have full-fledged banners, and it is a very huge focus and celebration. There's festivals that take place all throughout the world. And the United States, they really portray a more muted activity compared to a lot of the cultural excitement throughout the world. And I feel like we're catching up to that momentum that happens during GEW. And so you're seeing a little bit more celebration versus another pitch competition or another Shark Tank wannabe lineup or a panel that talks about the same thing over and over. And this year, I feel like there's a lot more energy and excitement towards GEW home base in the United States.
And I think if I can tag on to that, I think that energy that you are describing has been coming for a couple of years in the United States. I think where our jobs come from is on a fundamental shift. And for many communities, for example, in rural communities, we know that entrepreneurship is a primary strategy for economic development. And the idea that we can create jobs on our own and allow people to participate in the economy on their own terms with their own definition of success is kind of a foreign anathema to most of us in economic development. But what we're seeing is that most net new jobs are coming from people that have businesses less than 5 years old. And as a result of that, the awareness has been much stronger. And in the economic development field, my job, which I'll talk about in a bit later, but my job is to help build that culture, to help us manage and move through that change and allow our economic developers to be the most proactive, supportive entities that they could be in making sure that anyone who wants to participate in the economy can do so through self-employment, through starting a company with employees, through starting a tech company, opening a home-based business, working remotely. However they choose to participate, it is something we need to be holding up, and it's happening. It's happening. It's a really exciting time, I think, to be in this space and working with entrepreneurs.
That is so true. And I want to piggyback on the theme, which is entrepreneurship is for everyone. For those of you who are going to see this in an audio, just look at the gap. We've got a black, white, colorful, a mix here. And we had two men, one white, one black, that was supposed to join us and weren't able to. Entrepreneurship is for everyone, regardless of your age, whether you're a teen or 99, it doesn't matter. It is for you. And there's so many resources that are available for you, regardless of your color, your background, your culture, whether you're in a rural area or in urban area or a metropolitan city, entrepreneurship is for you. So if you're on the edge and you think, well, I can't do this, I want this to be a sounding board for you. Just jump. I'm quoting that from a guest episode that was released today. That was our 15th episode. Just do it. Jump. And you know what? You'll figure out how high you can jump or how far you can get once you get started. And just to share a little bit about that, before this episode started, Mo had asked me, what made you start a podcast? I want you to know this podcast is only 4 months old. And I think as of today, the very first episode intro was released 5 months ago. And although it's 5 months old, I looked at our stats today. It's been listened to in 6 countries. And I was surprised, 62 cities. The last time I checked, it was 53 cities. And now that was last month. And this month, we're in 62 cities. So jump and then just figure it out as you go. Because there are lots of blueprints, but there isn't like a one, this is how you do it. But just keep taking one step after another. and you'll find yourself 62 cities later.
Nice.
Perfect.
Nice. Yeah.
So, what advice do you guys have for today's entrepreneur? And we'll close with that bonus question.
Karina?
I mean, you just said it. So one of the ongoing motivations that we have here in our area with my co-working space, Splash, it was very intentfully named because we want to be able to provide the environment and the resources and the knowledge of the resources that are out there that can be accessible and inclusive for people to make a splash because of that rippling effect throughout their community. So to your point is just get out there and do it and really take a step back to evaluate what you have that are assets. A lot of unconventional perspectives of what is working for you now and what you have are your anchoring assets. You don't have to have what's most likely a block in your mind of what your company or business is going to look like, but really seeing what it looks like now and where you're at and how to activate that in the short term and not waiting until you have all of these perfect pieces to make that jump or that splash. It's really what is it that you're using right now and what's brought you to the point that you're at that you can activate just a short component of what your idea or your company is. So really value what you already have and then just do it in like that sense of trial and error and make sure you do have your safeties around you in order for you to feel confident and validated in those motions moving forward when you build up your business.
Thank you so much, Karina. Mo, what advice do you have for today's entrepreneur?
I am excited to jump in here and I want to say something about Karina, if that's all right. So I've known her for how many years have I known you? 5, 6?
Yeah, let's say a good handful, probably decades in a past life, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure about that too. But I want to talk a little bit about Karina because she exemplifies, I think, how entrepreneurs can behave by just jumping in. She says it, but she lives it. The Splash Co-working is such a great example of a woman who just saw a need in the community in San Marcos and built out a gathering place for people of all backgrounds, of all ages, of all colors, of all shapes. And the environment there is open, it's inviting, it's warm, it's kind. And as needs have arisen in the community that she's formed, she goes out and just makes things happen. I'm going to give you an example because it blew my mind the first time I met her. She has, as part of co-work membership at Splash, and I think you still have this. If you don't, just go along. She had the opportunity for members to get access to online virtual healthcare. Now, it's a huge need in the entrepreneurship space. It's one of the biggest barriers to entrepreneurial activity is not having access to healthcare. And she knew this, and she went out and did the shopping and made it part of the membership support that you can get at Splash Co-working. And it's not rich, deep, thousands of dollars type of healthcare, but it's access to online doctor visits, online nurse practitioner types of consults that this comes with that co-working space. She offers up through partnerships, odd hours that the co-working space is open and workshops and activities. It's a kind of the feel that I get there is come one, come all, and we'll figure this out as we go. And whatever your needs are, we'll build something around that. And if there are a lot of you that have the same needs, we're all going to win. We're all going to grow in this community. And in that way, Splash has become an iconic part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem in that part of Texas. And I think it speaks to how that iterative approach, just get out there, do it, try it, take little bites, and the big things will follow because this is a big thing. Her hub is a big thing in Southern Texas. So I just had to say that, Karina, because I'm like, we have the mutual admiration club, but you are an amazing woman. And she's also an amazing ERC fellow and was selected. We had 1,400 people who applied to be ERC fellows in this project, and there were 65 selected. And I have the good fortune to be with 2 of them today. And for me, this is so gratifying to have these conversations with you. It was the best and the brightest, the most innovative, the kindest, the most gifted that are part and parcel of this fellowship program. And when you get them together in a room, it's just magic. It's just magic.
Yeah. That's we all vibe together.
I am very served. I have to say on here, I'm no longer an active ERC fellow, but definitely been an honor to have been one of the first inaugural 65 chosen. My fellowship just ended last month, or is it this month? I'm not even sure. Still kind of.
It's blurred, but yeah, but still within the community, a lot of energy, and it's just a camaraderie that we appreciate. Thank you so much, Mo. It's sometimes it's not as clear when you're in it, and from your perspective to watch our movie and to have that response is really, really humbling. Thank you so much.
And if you're in San Marcos or anywhere between Dallas and Austin, and you don't have a co-working space and you're an entrepreneur, please go visit the Splash. I am going to be making a visit before the end of this year. If not early next year. Yes. Great. Thank you guys for being a part of this podcast. It's been such a delight to have you two. And I'm so honored, Karina, to have you, a fellow Texan, on here. And to have you, the woman of innovation and entrepreneurship, on here.
The OG, yes.
Wow.
I think the future is so exciting. And I think a lot of that is tied to the kinds of innovation and the positive impact the two of you are having in the communities in the country. And so I love the podcast. I love the work you're doing. Karina, keep going. Thank you.
Very well received.
Hey there, if you're just joining us, this is Small Biz Catalyst. We would like to invite you into our Tag a Business team. Here's what you need to do. Nominate a small business of your choice, tag them on our website at smallbizcatalyst.org. That's small, BIZCATALYST.org. Tell us your name. Give us your email address, because that's how we'll be able to tell you if you're a winner or not. And then give us a website to a business of your choice. It could be your business or somebody else's. Once you've tagged the business, you'll be entered for a $25 drawing to a local business of your choice. We'll announce winners every month. And now, back to the show.